Hi, I'm Cecil McNeil, a writer filmmaker. Welcome back to my vlog. So, in this section, we're going to read. This is when the main characters meet. The main character meets his love interest, his eventual love interest. So, this is many, many years after the last segment that we read of him being captured. He's an adult now, and his name has been changed to Raymond. So, he was named by a priest who adopted him, and now the priest is dead, and so Raymond decided that he's going to go find a clan of his own, a tribe that will accept him. And yeah, so I'll read it in segments so that you can understand a piece of what is happening. He's been wandering for days now, just trying to find a way to find any tribe that will accept him. As evening approached, he smelled in the air that a storm was approaching. He stuffed some more berries into his pockets and tried to navigate his way through the forest to find sufficient shelter. Suddenly, Raymond tripped over something fairly large and fell to the ground with a loud thud. He groaned in pain, writhing on the ground, trying to regain the breath that had been knocked out of him. After he regained his composure, he went back to investigate and was alarmed to discover a human body. A woman. She wasn't dead but unconscious. He listened around for any sign of human life in case the woman wasn't alone. On hearing none, he scooped her into his arms, one arm beneath her neck and the other beneath her knees, and walked faster than he ever had before, forgetting his own pain and need. All he wanted to do was to get her out of the approaching rain. He felt the ground under his feet become hard and rocky. It hurt his feet, but it was a good sign that there was a large rock close by, one that might be able to provide sufficient shelter. To his delight, he found the cave. On entering the cave, on entering the cave, the rain began to pour down heavily. He thanked God for little mercies. Raymond sniffed the air of the relatively small cave for any sign of wildlife and found none. He laid her down far inside where the rain would not be able to get to her. He examined her for any injuries or broken bones, but found none. She was just very dehydrated and thoroughly exhausted. He cupped his hands together and fetched some rainwater, which he put to her lips, sprinkling the rest on her face. It revived her a bit. Her eyelids fluttered for a bit, but she remained very incoherent. Fatigued, she passed out again. Raymond ran his fingers gently over her face. She was one of the people, meaning one of a Native American too. He could tell from her features, though some of them were a little strange to him. She was very beautiful. His throat constricted. Running his fingers over her aroused feelings in him he hadn't felt in years. Raymond abruptly came to and pulled away from the woman, scooting as far back as the cave permitted. Kanda, that's his first wife. His eyes stung. He hadn't realized the extent of how much he missed her. The pain of her loss hurt so much his chest felt like someone had tied it in a knot. He pulled his knees to his chest, buried his face in it, and wept bitterly. A short while later, Raymond rose to his feet and wiped his tears angrily, knowing that he couldn't stay here like this with this strange woman. She would only resent him. She obviously had a past and didn't need his complicated life dragging her down. She was much better off without him. So he leaves her and he's determined to just walk away from her and not be bothered. But then he found that he couldn't. So he came back and he was happy she was still in the cage, in the cave. So he started making food. While roasting the fish, he sensed a presence behind him at the cave's entrance. He could hear the wind whipping through her hair and clothes, carrying her scent to where he was. Raymond inhaled deeply. He stood up slowly, still holding the impaled fish. He turned around. She suddenly found it hard to breathe. She double blinked to reassure herself that he was truly there and not just an illusion. She gazed at him, his long jet black hair flowing in the wind, gently brushing his face. He was tall, well tanned, and very handsome, even though the black piece of cloth that covered his eyes, even with the black piece of cloth that covered his eyes. It added to the mystery that he was. She could feel her pulse racing. How do you feel? He asked in English, through a very thick native accent. She had to find her voice, almost too stunned to speak. I feel well, thank you. She spoke like the pale-skinned, he noted. Come, eat, he said, indicating to the roasted fish in his hand. The smell of fish was very appetizing. She couldn't dream of declining the offer. She came a bit closer to him, keeping a safe distance. She watched him divide the fish into two equal halves. Something about him, his movements, made him very intriguing. She accepted the fish gratefully and sat down opposite him to eat. Thank you for everything. It's no problem. Raymond smiled, a little breathtaking by the sound of her silvery voice. I am Winona, she said. Raymond. A Christian name. How come? He told her a little about his life with Priest. So now that the priest is dead, what do you intend to do? She asked. I've been wondering a while now, he said solemnly. I am searching for a tribe to belong to. What about you? He asked quickly, changing the subject, not wanting to dwell on it. I'm in a similar situation, except the tribe I'm searching for is my own tribe. Well, sort of. She elaborated. My father was English and my mother Lakota. I have lived among my father's people my entire life, and now that side of me is no more, she seemed to be struggling. I'm searching for my mother's people. A long time ago, she told me how to find the village and said if I was ever alone or had no place to go, I always had a home there. Raymond had stopped eating and was listening intently. She sounded so sad. That is what I was doing, or at least what I was trying to do when you found me. You have kin there? He asked. I don't know. I really don't know much about my mother's people. She rarely ever spoke about them. You speak Lakota? Thrush, meaning yes. My mother taught it to me. Raymond smiled, eager to return to speaking the language he had learned to love. He became solemn once again and took in a deep breath. Winona? She liked the way he said her name, the way it rolled off his tongue. Raymond hesitated, not sure if he should. I have no village, no kin, no place to go. He paused. Please allow me to come with you in search for your village. His earnestness touched her. Well, of course you're coming, she chuckled. The forest isn't exactly the ideal place for someone like me, with next to no outdoors experience. Raymond smiled warmly. Thank you. No, thank you. Raymond abandoned his blind stick and took his place beside her, confident in his abilities once again. You don't need it? She couldn't help asking. No, I never did. He used his feet to fill the path before him as he walked. How long have you been this way? She asked gently. As long as I can remember. He could hear and smell each individual tree as they walked by, enabling him to visualize the forest around him, the rustling leaves in the trees, the birds chirping away. As they walked, Winona stole frequent glances at him. She found everything about him intriguing. The way he positioned his ears on the path before him as though he was seeing through his ears. What is the matter? She stiffened. She didn't think he would know she'd been staring at him. Sorry, I'm just having a hard time believing you are blind. She sounded amazed. I've seen many blind people before, but you're not as dependent. I'm used to it. I'm impressed. Raymond gave a slight smile. Is that why you cover your eyes? She couldn't help asking. Yes, he lied. He couldn't even dream of speaking about his past shame. Dot, dot, dot. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget, if you're interested in purchasing a copy of Echoes of Mercy, DM me and I'll get you a copy. Thanks, bye.